Is up, RotoGrinders? We're back for another hour and 40 minutes, taking all the way up the lock. If you're tilting the first slate, the early slate, if you didn't stack the Athletics, the team from parts unknown, if you did not get yourself some Mets or Blue Jays, and you ate all the Minnesota chalk, well, you know what? We're starting all over again. We're doing it one more time with one of the greatest DFS players / producers in all of Maine. It's Tasteful Tides, Tim. What's up, Tim? I haven't talked to you, I think, since you've done your producing. Look at. Was there any sort of major goofs on air? How's that been going for you? We're doing spectacular, as far as I know. Good reports so far.
Yeah, I mean it's been an awesome time. I have not been on GrindersLive in quite a while. It feels like maybe like a month. So yeah, It's definitely and I got to tell you, this early slate is absolutely awful for me. So I am so ready to turn this over and talk about a different slate, because this was just an absolute disaster for me.
Are you playing low ball? Well,
yeah, I probably am going to compete for some low ball contests tonight.
Yeah,
today. Yeah,
not first or last. Yeah, Athletics now, they got 12 now in Minnesota at this point. Robbie Ray's bringing it again. He's got 8 strikeouts now and still just the fifth inning. Cease, there was a hiccup there somewhere. I know Machado homered. They put up a 3 spot on Cease as well. So, and TJ's Blue Jays, shout out to TJ's Blue Jays. They have 9 runs, so good for them. Jesus Luzardo, I think, did he give up 12 runs last start? Was it something like that?
I thought it was 10. I thought it was 10, but I guess it could be 12. Yeah, it could be 12.
Maybe it was 10, so it's like 18 in his last 2 starts. And before that, dude was awesome. But, that's just how it goes sometimes, I suppose. The fickleness of baseball. Going to go ahead and drop Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth, drop his weather report here in chat. The one thing we have to be, well, I guess there's 2 games, right? It's officially yellow, straight yellow in Pittsburgh, yellow-green in Tampa. We know about those pop-ups. We'll know more later on. He'll be jumping out in about an hour or so. But as of right now, I'm assuming we're playing it. And I hope we're playing it, because one of my favorite pitchers is in those games. And one of my favorite stacks is in those games. So hopefully no goofiness, no shenanigans. We get a clean 9 for both of these teams, or both these games. Kansas City, St. Louis, not on FanDuel. FanDuel was, I guess they were afraid that the game 1 would go like 17 innings. I don't know. Maybe it would have broke their system. They played a doubleheader. They played earlier today. There was plenty of time between games, so we already have a lineup for St. Louis. No KC lineup just yet. We're getting the return of Cole Reagans. We haven't seen him in several weeks. 2 other elite pitchers throwing baseballs tonight. Framber Valdez, who's just been awesome of late. Threw a complete game last time. Not a CGSO. Wasn't a shutout. Gave up a run. But I think it was 83 pitches, Tim. Mm-hmm. Super efficient. Like, a lot of times I'm like, I never really want to play a guy just through 9 innings. Like, oh man, 9 innings. What did he have? 115, 120 pitches. Maybe they push him down just a little bit the next start. 83 pitches. Just cruising last time out. And he's taking on a Pirates team that is one of the worst offenses in baseball. They're terrible against lefties, specifically their best hitter. Left-handed is much worse as well. So we're going to love, I think, well, I don't want to speak for you, but I like the Astros a good bit. And I think it's kind of a 1 and 1A situation with Max Fried. Max Fried taking on Cleveland, and a fair bit of Ks in that lineup. I see Big Christmas is in there. Of course, J-Ram and Quan, they're good, but there are some strikeouts to be had. Not that Fried's like this great strikeout pitcher, but he's an awesome pitcher when it comes to run prevention. Good shot at the W as well. A -278 favorites. I think that's the biggest favorite on the board, if I'm not mistaken. We'll take those win points. You don't need them, but we'll take them. Sure, why not? What's your screenshot? How are we seeing this 5-gamer, 4-gamer on FanDuel?
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, I just had all 4 of my dogs invade my office. So if they start barking or too loud, just let me know, somebody. If people could hear them, just let me know, and we will remove them. But yeah,
is the door open behind you too? I didn't see it. Or it's like a secret trap door that I don't.
No, there's another door. There's another door on the other side of the room, and they all just busted in here. So
the other day I saw you with a cat. You're like like the evil the evil villain in a movie that kind of pets the cat. It kind of has a lap. Not that I would ever assume that's who you are, but that's what it reminded me of for some reason. Like I seen it at Austin Powers or something like that. But is the cat lurking, or just they kind of the cat's just like, all the dogs are away, I'm gonna go chill on my own, do my own thing.
The cat, Roscoe the cat is actually in one of the dog's beds, so that could start a war here pretty quick.
Roscoe's a great name for a cat, by the way, as a side note.
Yeah.
All right, I didn't mean to derail you, but no. Dogs pop. Feel free to throw them up on screen if you want to.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. That might happen here pretty soon. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's like, again, one of these smaller slates. We're gonna have some pretty obvious and clear chalk on Max Fried. I'm getting to a ton of him in Sims. He projects well on the bat. He projects pretty well pretty much everywhere. So I mean, it's definitely going to be one of those slates similar that we saw today. Not a lot of this is not going to be one of those slates where I'm going to say spread out at pitching. It's going to be quite the opposite. I would have a super condensed pool for pitching. Maybe just go Fried, Valdez, and maybe Cole Reagans, even though the matchup is not amazing, but he's flashed as a big ceiling that I think you could play him today. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a condensed pitching pool, and then I'm not gonna say spread out at hitting because there's only so many offenses really. But I wouldn't be so worried about getting like the full like 5-3s. Like I might do some like 4-2-2s or like kind of try to get different in that capacity.
That's my lane, Tim. I like doing that, like a 3-3-1-1 kind of homer hunt.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm hoping that people like attempt to like home run hunt on this slate, just because if you can find that guy that gets the double dong at low ownership, I mean that's your separation factor on the slate. So that's kind of like where I would hope to steer people. But yeah, I mean it's kind of it's pretty obvious slate in my opinion, at least in terms of pitching.
The other thing, as far as the homer hunting thing, is kind of in that thought process. You have two guys that are ground ball savants that don't really give up homers, and Framber Valdez and Max Fried. So you wipe them out. They might give up a home run. Sure, things happen. Mitch Keller has been awesome at subduing homers in that ballpark. That he's in. 5.6% as far as homer to fly balls. He's been lucky there, but he's also facing a Houston team that's pretty punchless. So like Valdez, Fried, Keller. Liberatore keeps the ball on the ground. He doesn't give up a lot of homers. There's just not a lot of home run pitchers is the point I'm making. Jack Leiter is like one guy that's been pretty lucky, 6.9% homer to fly ball. And I think that's kind of my bet that the old regression monster is going to return, show its face today in St. Petersburg, because it's not forgiving. It's not a forgiving ballpark. If you give up a barrel, it just might get over the fence because that ballpark is pro hitter. Cole Reagans is back. Not a lot of homers from Cole Reagans as well. I want to have that conversation because I'm just curious how many lineups you have to make. Oh, here we go. We got a dog. Oh my, look at this guy. Who's this?
This is Reese.
What? That is an amazing sound. Is this a constant? You hear this noise all the time?
Oh yeah, she's snorting all the time. She's a little piglet.
Is this Reese an homage to like the pieces? Well, what is Reese?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Do you know, fun fact, do you know in Canada, it's not Reese's Pieces, it's Reese Pieces? It's not, there's no ownership. There's no apostrophe S.
That's right. So that's
true. In some parts of Canada, apparently not in Saskatoon. Look in Toronto. We get the fact checker right here.
They're called Reese's Pieces.
No, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, the Canadian, I'm the know-it-all American, that I had this conversation with Pepsi. Like we debated it for a while, and then he showed me in certain parts of Canada, maybe it's different depending on the province, but this dog's amazing, by the way. I just
is that obnoxious in the microphone? I can't tell.
Can very much you can clearly hear it, but it's
okay.
I don't dislike it. I'm not sure how the viewers feel about it, but TJ, give it a Google. I'm not making this up.
I am right now, and it's apostrophe S.
No, did they have a vote? Did they recently change this? I'm not sure.
Reese's
But,
Pieces were introduced to the Canadian market in 1980.
I'm telling you that there's no apostrophe S.
There is.
At one point, I'm doing a thing. I'm doing a show, but when I have a moment, I'm going to give it a Google and I'm going to show you. TJ, by the way, apparently is considering picking up the new Nintendo Switch 2. I thought there was like a long wait list for that. That's available right now? I thought you had to pre-order it. Yeah, I guess this is the day when they start to come in. So
most stores are doing something where their pre-orders are getting sent out tomorrow, but they have like a set amount available in store for people to come in and buy. So just like you actually got to leave your house.
Oh, you got to put pants. Well, it's worth putting on pants though for the Nintendo Switch, right? I assume so.
Yeah, I was originally thinking that like I didn't have like a big need to get it real quick, and I was thinking, maybe we'll wait. Maybe we'll wait. It's coming out incredibly expensive at like the PlayStation and Xbox price. You don't usually get a Nintendo for that kind of price, but I don't know. It's my birthday this month, and I might go get myself a little treat.
Happy early birthday! Treat yourself. Also, TJ, check the private chat, and I want an apology.
Well, that's a Reese cup. That's a Reese.
Oh no,
cup. It's not Reese's Pieces.
It's all the same brand. Oh, you thought I was about Reese's Pieces?
Yeah, that's why I'm Googling all these Reese's Pieces, and everywhere it says Reese's Pieces with the apostrophe.
Well, you know what? It's okay. It's called Reese's in America, not Reese. It's called Reese in Canada. That's the point I was trying to make. Show the people so they know I'm not completely insane, if you don't mind. Yeah, it's the cups are called Reese. There's no wrong way to eat a Reese in Canada. I guess there's a wrong way to pronounce it depending on where you're at. But TJ's not going to show it. He's not going to. He just wants the people to think that I am crazy. All right, back on track. It's a 5-gamer. We got plenty of time, people. Going to talk about the stacks and tiers momentarily. Did you say? I apologize, Tim. You were talking about some pitchers. Fried versus Valdez. Did you have a preference amongst those two? It's kind of a 1-1A situation for me. Valdez is cheaper on DK. Fried is cheaper on FanDuel. You can kind of go that way if you want to. Maybe ownership is flipped because of it, and you do differently in tournaments. Do you have a hard take as far as who you prefer amongst those two?
I definitely don't have a hard take. My lean would be Valdez, but it's super, super close. I mean, he is $700 less, but really, I mean, it's so close between the two.
Are you going to pair the two in your main contest, your main lineup?
Very, very likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many lineups do you have to make to play Reagan's? Obviously, DK only. I think we're projecting 80 pitches. Yeah,
I mean, probably 6 or 7. I might start spreading out to Reagan's. I'm really thinking like what other guys I would add as like an SB2 if I wasn't just going to go straight Valdez Fried. Reagan's is definitely my number 3. I guess Mitch Keller would be number 4, but I don't really like that all that much. Do you have a Keller take?
I think he's fine-ish. My take is it's tied to the fact I think Houston's just not very good. And that ballpark is great to throw baseballs in. You're going to get a collection of righties. They did call up Jacob Melton, who looks like he's a prospect. He's a legit prospect, and I'll talk about him when it comes to hitters. I think he's one of the better 2K darts on the board. On the season, I don't know if this is true historically. I feel like it's not. Yeah, so it's weird. This year, Keller, 14.4% Ks versus lefties, 24 versus righties. And it flipped last year. I'm not sure which way is the true way to say it. But obviously with Houston, you're getting a bunch of righties. The only lefty in there today is the aforementioned Jacob Melton, 20.2% collectively for strikeouts. But it's just sort of like he'll give you like 17 points, I think, or maybe 13, maybe 20. But he probably doesn't get his face punched in. He probably doesn't break the slate. And if that hitter or two that you got because you have Keller, if they get there, you should be fine. I think the other question is Keller versus Pepio. They're kind of in the same tier. Who do you prefer amongst those two?
Yeah, that was going to be my very next question. I think I like Keller over Pepio. I'm getting to a lot of Texas in Sims. I'm getting a lot of Tampa as well. I'm getting to a lot of bats in that game. Oh,
I love Tampa.
There we go.
That's the bar. Does that mean we like who was it? Was that Roscoe? No, Roscoe's a cat. That would be
no.
Meow.
That
Ralph?
was my 70-pound Rhodesian Ridgeback.
What is that?
So it's like a hunting dog.
Can we hold that, or is that too much?
No, we can't. We cannot. No.
Gonna break your leg.
Yeah. So yeah,
what was
I'm
the
gonna
name?
do a ton.
Sorry, what was the name of the dog? The 70-pounder?
Scout.
Scouts. All right, continue.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm going to do a ton of bats in this Texas Tampa Bay game. I'm not really getting to Pepio. I'm not getting to Lighter either. That could end up being a mistake, but I'm really just going to be attacking. I'm going to be attacking the pitching in this game, not the actual pitchers. I'm going to be using the bats in this matchup.
Yeah, hopefully there's no issue as far as whether Pepio is a sort of pretty good price. He's been pretty good of late too. If you want to do the old game log thing, the price is 6.8 on DK. It's like perfect for an SB2. Doesn't, I guess they've kept him as far as 90 pitches or so when it comes to the leash. He's been efficient, thrown 6 innings, and I think his last 5 starts. This Texas team, Kirkwood's on later. I don't know if Kirkwood, he hasn't done it just yet this season, as far as I know, maybe in his private chat, but Texas has got to be on the gutless rankings, right? Right there with Baltimore, I would imagine.
I have lost a ton of money with Texas this year.
Yeah, Texas, and I have a Baltimore stack today too, which I haven't looked. I'm assuming that's already dead too.
I kept clicking on Marcus Semien, and he'd go 0-0-0. Then the one day I didn't play him, he got 36, and I was like, great.
He did that breakout game, but I think it might be over for him. I'm not certain, but I don't have a ton of confidence in Semien. He is cheap, and he plays second.
Yeah, that's the thing. I kind of like him tonight, but if I play him, he's gonna go 4.
I'm fairly certain that Pepio is at least neutral, and he might have a little bit of a reverse split. I'm checking to see what Cardi has in the back. Yeah, he's got him at neutral for what it's worth. Evan Carter, by the way, not in the Texas lineup. Osuna's in there. That was the one difference as far as our projections with the Rangers. What lineups do we have out already? We have everything. Every lineup is out with the exception of Kansas City game 2, unless that just dropped, but I don't see it just yet. I know Sal Perez caught the first game, so maybe he DHs. He's not going to catch the second game, obviously. By the way, I don't know what the rookie Caglione was taken out of that game. I don't know if it was for defensive purposes. They brought in what's the
I feel like I would have seen something on Twitter if he had been hurt. I feel like it would have been all over Twitter.
Yeah, I just didn't like they're taking him out of the game. I think for defense because they brought in Rave. I think maybe Rave is a better defender. I don't know, but I did notice
Johnny Rave.
Yeah, which DFS surfing or DFS roller skating or whatever. He'd be like the 1-1, right? But that name at least, Johnny Rave sounds. I mean, if you play DFS surfing, first pick, right? Johnny Rave. I like how you make him Johnny and not John. I appreciate that.
Yeah, he has to be Johnny. I mean, that's
of course.
That's just
I don't want John Rave on my surfing team. I want Johnny Rave. That's who I want. All right. Anybody we missed? Does chat have anybody in their mind as far as pitchers? Anybody worth talking about? I know TJ's going to be on later. I was going to ask if he had a thought, but speaking of TJ, I know Spidey's lurking too. Spidey Bombs every 50 likes. And you know what? Terrible job by me. We haven't even. You know what? Here it is. This is what we're going to do, TJ. It is a Fleet Thursday. Unprecedented second Fleet Thursday. Unprecedented. Not sure.
How funny is it that you added one in on Tuesday, thinking we never do Fleet Thursday, so let's do a Fleet Tuesday, and now it's our third one of the week.
It's so boring. It's so stale. We have to do something different now. Do you want to drop both clues, TJ? Since we're a little bit behind, we can drop 1 and 2. 1 doesn't really get you there. 2, you might have a puncher's chance. And this is me admitting my clues are terrible. Well, that's just you could just scratch people out. But clue number 1, if you guys don't know, you guys know how this works, right? You were here earlier today. Fleet Tuesday, Fleet Thursday. It's Thursday today. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium, RotoGrinders Premium, all the bells, all the whistles, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, MMA, PGA, WNBA, optimizer, the projections, the rankings, the articles, just tell me what athlete I'm talking about in the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord, live stream chat channel. Most Discord channels are free. That one is free. Just need a regular standard RG account, not necessarily a paid one. And you get 2 guesses. You can fire out 2 guesses here since there are 2 clue drops. Normally, only 1 per clue drop. All-Star and rating are the first 2 clues. All right. Tim, anything we missed here? Anything else you want to say as far as pitchers?
I think that's really it. I would be Xing out Ciccone, Leiter, maybe have a sprinkle of Liberatore, maybe, but I mean I wouldn't get too carried away with him. I don't want any Jake Irvin. I'd really just be focusing on keeping your pitching pools super condensed.
You're making 150. I know you're not, but hypothetically you are.
Mm-hmm.
There's 10 players drawing baseballs. Well, I guess there's 11, right? Pomerantz is an opener.
You're not playing him though. So.
No, I'm just I know. Yeah. I just want to acknowledge there's another dude. But how many are in your pool? Reagan's, Keller's in the pool. I think. Yeah, Keller's.
Yeah.
I think 150. Keller's in the pool. Pepio's in the pool. Liberatore.
I'd almost rather take a shot on Liberatore than Pepio and just make a stand with fading Pepio.
Okay.
That's kind of what I would lean.
I don't think I would have Jack Leiter.
I don't think I would either.
Too many walks, not enough strikeouts, too many fly balls. And in that ballpark, that's just a no. That's a no for me. And like you said, you can't have everybody. You want to be over on some other players as well. Ciccone versus the Yankees. I mean,
no,
you can do that if you want, but I don't think so. And you said no to Jake Irvin. And the Milwaukee nonsense.
And I'm seeing like pretty high projected ownership for both Leiter and Pepio, which I don't like at all. I'd much rather take the ownership discount with getting to Mitch Keller than playing a much chalkier Leiter or Pepio.
The Cubs nonsense of Pomerantz and Ray. Definitely not Pomerantz. You want any Ray? I don't think I want any Ray.
I don't think so. I mean, he's already like a pretty low ceiling guy, and now he's just gonna be like a projected long reliever. I know that's kind of priced in at $6K, but I really don't.
When did Kyle Raleigh? I hope you're sitting down, but the big dumper, he homered again today.
Wow.
Pete Alonso just struck out with the bases loaded. Rushman and Henderson both homered as well. So look at that. I was besmirching Baltimore, and I guess they came alive to some degree, I suppose. And Wu was probably, I don't know if that was against Wu or not. Why are we talking about the slate? We care about, this is DFS. We care about the slate now, and only the slate now, not the slate that happened. It's in progress 2 hours ago. Let's pivot. Let's give a pivot to our tiers as far as today's tiers list. I figured, Tim, like you said, you haven't been on here in a month or so. We talk a little bit of hockey off air. I like to pretend I'm a hockey guy. Of course, you're like a real legit hockey guy. But I love sports names, just like in general. Like good player names to kind of fit the sport. We've done baseball. It's got an incredible list. I'm sure we'll circle back on that at some point. But I floated out hockey names, just like classic hockey names, perfect hockey names. And that's what we did. We power ranked it, kind of a joint effort. I guess the first one, I just insisted on the guy in the 1 hole. Like, this guy's got to be in the 1 hole, who gives up some goals in the 5 hole, actually. But your thoughts as far as some names before we officially reveal the board? Well, TJ revealed it. That's fine. But pretend you didn't see it, folks. What's your favorite hockey name? What's the best hockey name out there? And good luck.
I mean, I'm a big Garth Butcher guy. I think that's a fantastic hockey name, especially for an enforcer like he was. I really love that name, and it's easy to pronounce, Dean. So, but yeah, there are really some amazing hockey names out there.
I see Casey in chat. I actually considered Radek Bonk. Radek Bonk was one time a big time prospect back in the day. Was it Ottawa? Fun name to say. I feel like it was Ottawa. I could be wrong. Again, I'm not a hockey guy. I dabble in the hockey streets, but
I still don't know how Dick Duff didn't make the list.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's like from the '60s. There was a couple other ones that
he's a Hall of Famer, Dean.
They let anybody in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Let's be honest.
No, I don't know. I don't know if that's
I
true.
just made that up. Is it a hard Hall of Fame to get into? I have no idea. What's the guy's name? Dick Duff?
Dick Duff.
Richard Duff. It's Dick. We're sure it's Dick.
I believe he goes by Dick.
Yeah. Yeah, Garth Butcher, like you said, a spectacular name, and Butcher for a guy that was a goon back in the day. I actually did pull it up. I was curious. I was looking at his he had like over 200 penalty minutes, like basically every single season for a whole run. But they don't really have that anymore, right? The goons are kind of out.
Yeah, fighting is not as big a thing as it used to be. Like not even close.
I mean, my Panthers, not to make it about my Panthers, but the thing about the Panthers is their best players are also their fighters too. Like, Kachuk, one of their best players, will fight. What was the guy's name? They got him from the Boston Bruins. I think he was there for like 17, 18 years. They acquired him in the middle of the season. Some people call him a rat. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that jerk. I'm so mad. I've already forgotten about him.
Marchand. Some of their best players are also willing fighters. You don't typically see that.
That's right.
All right. Ron Hextall being thrown out there in the chat. But, of course, I went with a different Ron. Ziggy Palffy. Ziggy Palffy was a nickname, though, right? That wasn't really his name. Like, that wasn't the official name. What was Ziggy Palffy's real name?
I can't remember.
I don't think that was, like, his real name. TJ, let me know in chat. I feel like that was, like, a shortening of his name. I could be wrong. Again, not my wheelhouse. But number one for me, Tim.
Yeah, was, I believe his real name was Zygmunt.
Zygmunt's pretty cool, too.
Yeah,
Zygmunt Palffy, yeah. It's not like a especially cool or like special name, but what's a name I loved growing up?
What's
Mika Kiprasov.
That's a good name. Yeah,
something about that name was just so fun to say. Mika Kiprasov.
Zdeno Chara.
Zdeno
Chara. I didn't pronounce it correctly. If I have a dog, I'm going to name it Zygmunt. Put that in the back of my brain. I like that name. I can call him Ziggy. Okay. Butcher in the 2-hole. We have Ron Tugnut. Ron Tugnut in the 1-hole. Garth Butcher. Kirkwood's on later. So as an homage, we have Kevin Shattenkirk in the 3-hole. So shout out to Kirkwood. And then there's a Jordan Tutu. According to his hockey page, reference page, they called him Toots. Can you confirm that? Was that his nickname, Toots? That's what it said on the page.
I don't know. I cannot remember.
I believe he played Jordan Toots.
I believe he played for the Devils. I'll have to look up other teams he may have played for. I think he played for. I think he played
Predators
for
the long time. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Toots. Jordan Tutu. And then in the 5-hole,
Predators, Red Wings, Devils, Blackhawks.
Apparently Palffy had he did have that was back in the day when mullets were a thing in hockey, right up there with the Armberg Yager. Satan also being mentioned in chat. Miroslav, he was considered. Tom Wilson, that's the least interesting hockey name. So Tom Wilson is in the 5-hole. Am I hearing a house phone? Was I hearing a house phone, Tim? You have one of those?
Oh, yeah. I definitely have a house phone.
Is that your call or is that somebody else's call?
No, it's because I live in the middle of the woods on an island, so we have it just in case. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. You basically have to.
Do you get creditors? Not creditors, but you get like soliciting stuff all day long?
Like once a day. Like one phone call a day.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Okay. Let's do it. Let's throw some teams in some tiers today. Again, our favorite hockey names. Before we do that, though, let's go ahead. Did we get a winner just yet? I don't think we did. Let's go ahead and drop the third clue. It's not Shaquille O'Neal or Aaron Rodgers or Mike Trout or Peyton Manning or Connor McJesus, Connor McDavid, Pascal Siakam. It is, the third clue for tonight is Bulldog. All-star rating Bulldog. Again, once we get to 50 likes, we have a Spidey Bomb that's going to pop up and scroll on the bottom of the screen. Get in that Discord. Give me today's athletes. All right. We got 10 teams, 8 on FanDuel. Again, FanDuel's throwing out Kansas City and St. Louis. First game we're going to talk about here. It is the Astros and the Pirates. 7.5 total. Mitch Keller at home versus Framber Valdez. Framber Valdez just spectacular when it comes to getting ground balls, subduing power. And this Pittsburgh team has no power. They strike out a lot. They're not patient. They're terrible. They're not good. And their best hitter, O'Neal Cruz, is a lefty, and he's much worse lefty on lefty. So I love Framber Valdez a ton. What say you as far as the offenses, the Astros and the Pirates? Where are we throwing them?
Yeah, in this season, O'Neal Cruz has a 38% K rate against left-handed pitchers. So he is significantly worse against lefties. The Pirates are definitely going to go in the Tom Wilson tier. It's not even close. I don't even want one-offs from this team. So Pittsburgh is easy, the very, very bottom tier. Houston is a little bit trickier, I think. I don't mind attacking Mitch Keller. I don't mind, I believe it was Jacob Melton you said. I think he's an interesting value play. I think there's some decent value here, but the problem is this team is so just so right-handed heavy. I think Melton's the only left-handed hitter on the entire lineup. So
he is.
Yeah, and Keller this year at least has a 24% K rate against righties and only a 15% K rate against lefties. So I mean he's much better against right-handed batters. And it doesn't look like Keller's going to be popular at all. Not that we're talking about pitching, but I guess Houston needs to go in the. It's either 2-2 or Shattenkirk. I guess I'm going to lean. I'm going to lead it to the Toots tier.
So Roth upped the risk for this game, which I'm not liking.
Oh man!
It's not. We're not freaking out. We're not freaking out just yet. It's yellow orange. I'll read it. I'll drop it in chat as well. He just says gotta up the risk here in Pittsburgh a bit. The coverage upstream is fairly widespread, and the timing cannot be worse. Rain chances peak 6 to 9 p.m. I think they get the game in, but I'm not fully confident yet on what it will take to make that happen. So, I mean, if you need a tiebreaker right there, as far as we're talking about Fried versus Framber, if you're not rostering them both, look, again, this stuff might change. Roth is going to come on in 40 minutes or so and give you some clarity, and maybe something changes, and all of a sudden he feels more optimistic. And even yellow is the lead color. Just want to throw it out there, let the people know. And by the way, as far as I wanted to mention Jacob Melton, according to Fangraphs, number one prospect in the Houston organization, 48 overall, so he's in the top 100 board. A lot of speed, a lot of power. You look at the grades, 65 raw power, 55 speed. You look at what he's done this year so far, 15-30, 15 homers and 30 stolen bases in the minors. I'm sorry, that was last season. My apologies. This year, he hasn't done that as well in AAA. 2 homers and 3 steals. But of note, good to know he has that in his arsenal. He's at least shown it to some capacity. He also buried the lead. He's like 2K. 2-2 or so on DK. I believe they got the Royals.
2-2?
Oh, look at that. The Toots. Kansas City. India's leading off. Witt, Garcia, Vinny Pasquantino, Perez. You got Sal Perez in there. All right. Our guy Jack is back. He's starting today for Kansas City. Started the early game. Kana, Lofton, and Freddie Fermin. So we have every single lineup in the books. All right. TJ is private messaging me. Let's see. Oh, TJ, did I never tell TJ the answer? That's the problem. My bad, TJ. I'll tell you that it's not John Stockton. But let me tell TJ the answer as we I set up the next game, and we'll also throw out the next clue. By the way, TJ, Bulldog is one word. I see it scrolling in 2 separate words.
That's how it is in America anyway.
Reese Bulldog. Yeah. And the other thing is that TJ couldn't believe that, that apparently they have 3 cups. You get 3 cups in Canada. Here you get they get no cups when it comes to Stanley Cups. When it comes to Reese's Cups, they have 3 in their pack. In America, I think it's 2. Is that standard? I believe it's 2. So that's the one thing.
I don't know. I don't know what the stock option is.
All right, so let's knock out this last game, and we'll give the next clue as well. I'm sure TJ will be dropping that momentarily. The third game on the board, It's the Guardians. The Guardians taking on the Yankees. Yankees, one of the bigger totals. Max Fried taking on Slade Ciccone. Good name, by the way. He should be a Royal, shouldn't he? All right. Yankees. Grisham leading off. Rice, Judge, Bellinger. Jazz, of course, is back. Volpe. We got the Martian, Dominguez, Wells, and Peraza. As far as the Guardians, barely a 3 total. Who wants to pick on Max Fried? Your thoughts for Cleveland and New York?
Guardians can easily go in the Tom Wilson tier. I do feel a little bit differently about them than Pittsburgh, though. I wouldn't mind getting to a couple one-offs of, J Ram. You can always use him in any scenario. I wouldn't mind like a one-off maybe of like David Fry or Carlos Santana, but either way, as a stack, they're the very bottom for me. I'm not going to be attacking Max Fried at all here. So, and then the Yankees. I know that they have an amazing team total, and it is a really good spot. I'm just worried that their ownership is going to get to be too high. I'm not getting to a ton of them in Sims, I think, because they are so highly owned. So I'm going to put them in the Garth Butcher tier, just because I think ownership might become just too. It might get too steamed up here. So I'm a little bit worried about that.
Yankees in Garth Butcher. Where did you put Cleveland? I'm sorry.
Let's put Cleveland and Tom Wilson.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought you said. Cleveland and Tom Wilson. Yankees in Butcher, and that's in part because of ownership. You think they're going to be one of the more popular teams?
Yeah, I mean the Yankees are straight up in a vacuum. The Yankees are the top offense on the slate. I'm just worried about ownership here, so that's why I'm going to put them a tier below.
If not the Yankees, it might be. Some might say it might be the Cubbies. Cubs are in Washington taking on Jake Irvin. They're guaranteed. They're locked in for 9 no matter what's going on. Happ, Tucker, Suzuki, PCA in the 4-hole, Swanson, Bush, Horner, Shaw, and McGuire taking on, again, Jake Irvin. We have Pomerantz as the opener. The former Brewer Colin Ray is expected to be the long man. How do you feel about the Cubs and the Nats?
So the Cubs are my favorite stack on the night, especially the top 6 hitters. It gets pretty weak there at the bottom, but I think the Cubs are the best overall stack. I expect them to be slightly lower owned than the Yankees. I'm hoping for that anyway. It seems like that. So the Cubs are my Ron Tugnut tier team. And I love going with like Kyle Tucker and Suzuki and Happ. Like all those outfielders are so strong today. I don't think many people are going to pay $6K for Pete Crow Armstrong. They might, but I don't think they will. So I absolutely love I love the Cubs today.
You can only roster one of Tucker or Judge in the old vacuum. Obviously, if you have a Yankee stack, you're taking Judge. Well, I shouldn't say obviously. There's ways to make different stacks, but in theory, how you're supposed to do it, the book would say. Who do you prefer as like a top of the board play? Salary is not a thing. Money ain't a thing. Tucker or Judge?
Yeah, I guess I would probably go Kyle Tucker today, just because I'm seeing like close to 40% ownership projected for Aaron Judge versus 23 for Tucker. So I mean, I think I would lean Kyle Tucker today. Like if you're playing strictly cash games, you're playing Aaron Judge over Kyle Tucker. But I'm going to make the pivot in, single entry 3 max large field GPPs to Kyle Tucker.
All right, 2 more games to go. It looks like we do have a did somebody get it correct in the first clue? Is that what TJ's telling me? Is that right? Someone got it right in the first clue? TJ.
I should
rate on All-Star and rating. We released 2 clues at once, but I scrolled back and somebody got it immediately.
Yeah, I thought rating.
Who also won on Tuesday.
Well, there you go.
So
shout out to
Mallory is kind of coming up as the potential GOAT for Slate Thursdays.
Checking the schedule to see if we're going to have more shows for Thursdays. So there's enough games to be had to discuss it. We'll play it out, but what tier are the Nats? So
I actually don't mind some of these lefties for Washington. I think that guys like CJ Abrams, James Wood, Nathaniel Lowe, Cabot Ruiz, even they're all going to be around, looks like 10 to 15% projected ownership. I think that's a pretty decent and solid ownership discount. They have a 4.6 implied team total. I would put them squarely in the Kevin and Shattenkirk tier. It would be, I mean, there's only one righty in this entire lineup. There's 8 lefties going for Washington. So yeah, I do kind of like this Washington stack.
I would also note that, Pomerantz, the lefty opener, he's kind of reverse splitsy. So, I'm not afraid of him. Not that I'm ever really afraid, to play Wood or those kind of guys, but Pomerantz is not a lefty that dominates other lefties. Is just the point. Interesting decision point at first for your stack for Washington, Nate Lowe or Josh Bell. It's just I didn't realize. I was thinking Bell just because he's cheaper, but they're both kind of the same. I don't. You lean amongst those two?
Just kind of looking at their numbers really quick. I guess
I feel like they're similar.
I would lean Bell just because of the savings.
That's kind of where I was at as well. Let's see. On the season versus lefties. Well, you know what? It's set up versus lefties on Plate IQ versus Pomerantz, but let's put it against Ray because you're probably going to see at least equal to that many at bats, versus a righty. Bell in the season's not big. It's a small sample. It's a lot of small samples versus righties. I feel. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button. Now we get a bigger sample. So Bell on the year. Yeah, Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it looks like Bell has a slightly higher ISO. Lowe has a slightly higher WOBA. Bell strikes out a little bit less. They walk about the same. So I think I'd still lean Josh Bell here.
Ray last year, 208s ISO versus lefties, 170 versus righties, 196 ISO versus lefties, 131 versus righties. So good versus righties, but thankfully there's very few righties in this lineup. I do think Washington's kind of sneaky. They're I think I have them 4th behind Tampa. I think so. That's kind of where I think Tampa's I don't want to say sneaky, but they're my favorite amongst the not too obvious ones. We'll talk about them here in a second. Okay. 2 more games to go, right? 2 more games or 1 more game? I'm losing track. I cannot count to 5. It is 2 more. Yeah. 2 more on DraftKings at least. Texas taking on Tampa, the aforementioned Tampa Bay Rays. 9 total, Ryan Pepio, Jack Leiter. I wrote about Tampa today in the survey. They have almost a 5 total. Again, there is some weather concerns possibly. We know this ballpark plays positive for hitting. Should be hot as well when it's not raining, if it's not raining. And Jack Leiter, he's got the highest Sierra on the slate, I believe. I want to confirm this now, but I know I wrote this earlier. Yes, a 4.94 Sierra despite his 3.66 ERA, in part because he's got a 6.9% homer to fly ball. The BABIP is 225, which is super lucky. I just feel like there's a correction coming for him, and this seems like a tough ballpark to just keep getting by with that horseshoe. So I like Tampa a good bit. Also, the walks, you're kind of asking for it with 11.9% as far as walks. It's also the only pitcher in the slate that has double-digit walks. So you walk a lot of guys. You don't strike out a lot. You're giving up fly balls. You're in a bad ballpark environment for fly balls. Tampa's my favorite, team, not New York, Chicago. But if you added all the other stuff, they might just be my favorite team. I think that's where my stack's coming from, assuming Roth gives me the go-ahead. What say you? And feel free to talk about Texas as well.
Yeah, I can't really decide if I like Texas or Tampa Bay more. I did just bet the over in this game 9. It's even money on DraftKings. So I am going to be rooting for the over in this game. I think I like Texas slightly more, but it's super close. I really like both of these teams. They should be coming at an ownership discount from New York and the Cubs. I think both of these teams could really go in the Garth Butcher tier. I think they could honestly go in the top tier as well. But this is definitely a game that I want to attack. I think I'm going to go Texas in the Ron Tugnick tier and Tampa Bay in the Garth Butcher tier. But it's super close.
2.5 runs first 5 is even money for Tampa. If you really think they get to Leiter, you can get them over 3.5 first 5, 2-1. Oh,
Say that again. I think I missed the first part of that. What did you say, Dean?
2.5 runs. 2.5 runs. If you want over 2.5 runs, even money on Tampa first 5 innings. And if you want to bet over 3.5, you get it at 2-1. If you think an implosion's coming.
I do. I don't mind that.
Yeah. Aranda has been awesome versus righties this year. Brandon Lau. He also, not only has Lau been good, right? He takes care of that crummy second base position. So, you know, I like him a good bit. On FanDuel, he is the first person in your lineup, in my opinion. He's like 3-1 or 3-2 over there. That's like plug and play. Brandon Lau on FanDuel. He's 4-8 on DK. You got to pay for it, which I guess is kind of good because I don't think he's going to be terribly popular. You know, relatively speaking, it's a 5-game slate. You know, the pie's getting cut up in smaller pieces.
He's 2,800 on FanDuel.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Just ridiculous. That's great. That's crazy.
First player you're plugging in. If you're playing cash games, are you playing cash on FanDuel today?
I'm not.
Okay, but if you were, that's the first person you're putting cash.
Yeah, you're definitely playing him. Yeah, I mean easily.
And besides Aranda, but we have Morel back, who's just been a disaster. It's been bad. He's a fun player to root for, but it's not.
Did he used to be your favorite player when he was hitting home runs?
I enjoyed watching him when he was in the Cubs. Yeah, and they would stick him in the 9-hole, and I would get tilted. Remember the Cubs? The Cubs are bad last year, and he was in those bad Cubs teams, and just he was fun. He's got some speed. He's got some power. He brings some excitement to the game, and now he can't hit baseballs. Maybe he's got the Max Muncy thing. Maybe he's got to get some glasses. I don't know. But Muncy apparently had an astigmatism. I'm not sure if you've heard that, but ever since getting the glasses, he's banging out some homers.
I did hear that.
Yeah, I bet Tampa, I don't know if they considered it or not, but you know that they sent down Chandler Simpson because he has options, and Chandler Simpson was doing good. The speedster, they might. I don't know if they're ready to cut bait on Morel, like just DFA him. It's been bad. I know they traded for him not too long ago, but it's been pretty ugly. Oh, Caminero also is good, and he smashed righties as well. 280 ISO in the season, 375 WOBA. Love him. Those are the first three. Brandon Lau, Aranda, Caminero. Those are my three favorite as far as Tampa today. All right. You put Texas.
Yeah,
you put Texas and Doug as well.
Yeah, I put Texas just ahead. Yeah, I mean, definitely on FanDuel, Tampa Bay just seems way too cheap across the board. So they're really easy to stack. And of course, Texas is pretty easy to stack as well.
The fifth clue we have for Fleet Thursday, if you're still playing along for funsies, is Pod. Pod is the fifth clue for Fleet Thursday. All-Star, Rating, Bulldog, 2 first names, and Pod. All right. Tim, I know you know it, but you're going to leave it. You're going to let it sit out there and let the people that haven't quite got there figure it out on their own. The last game.
I haven't figured it out yet.
Oh, I was trying to give you a credit without, forcing you to answer.
I wasn't really listening, Dean.
Well, because you don't like fun. That's right. I forgot. You must not like Christopher Morel. You don't like when he gets excited when he hits homers. You haven't seen that this year, but once upon a time he used to do that, and he would get excited.
Sounds like a guy I would hate.
Put your head down and run fastly around the bases. Do not show a smile or nothing. Do not get excited. Libator taking on the returning Cole Reagans. Man, it's tempting. I don't know what to do with him. I'm probably not going to get there. I just don't trust he's going to throw enough pitches, Reagans. We know he's a big reverse splits guy. How many righties are in the lineup? How sharp is St. Louis is the question. They have 3 lefties. Nootbaar, Scott, and Donovan. Really contact-heavy lineup, though. Collectively at 15.7%. That's a really low number. Now, Pozo is got a 0%, and Velade has got a 0% because they combined for 11 at-bats. It doesn't really count, So that's probably skewing the number somewhat. So take that, put that in mind. Herrera down to 13% as well. Arenado, it's weird. He's not hitting the baseball hard. 115 ISO. That's not good, but a 7% K rate this year versus lefties. Historically, remember that lefty masher back in Colorado? All right. Kansas City, St. Louis. What do you got?
St. Louis is going to go in the 2-2 tier for me. Not really a big advocate for them today. I do like Reagan's a little bit for GPPs. So St. Louis in the 2-2 tier. And then Kansas City, I actually have a little bit of interest, even though I don't think Liberatore is an awful pitcher. So I'm going to go Kansas City in the Kevin Shattenkirk tier. They are relatively cheap, and I am getting to quite a bit of them in Sims, more than I thought that I would get to. So I'm going to trust our Sims here, just put them a square in the middle here and go the Kevin Shattenkirk tier.
All right. Am I seeing this right? Kansas City is going to go in the Shattenkirk tier. Was this intentional, Tim? Do we have 2 in every tier?
It really wasn't. It really wasn't. Then I noticed at the very end, but I decided to go with it.
Yeah, that just works out perfectly. Yeah, look at that. Let's go ahead and give it a recap. Tim, I don't know if you have some taters for the people. I presume you do. Get some taters ready. I know TJ and Spidey. Pete Crow Armstrong is the first Spidey bomb. Keep hitting that like button and more Spidey bombs will appear. Tier number 1, if you guys are joining us late, crunch time coming about 5-10 minutes or so. 10 minutes. You got Roth and Kirkwood. TJ is going to spin more plates and become an analyst. But Ron Tugnut, we ranked great hockey names, just hockey names. Hockey names you like. Tugnut in the 1 hole. That's the Cubs in Texas. Garth Butcher, the Goon. That's Tampa and the Yankees. You can't quite see it in your screen, but I promise you the Yankees are there. Kevin Shattenkirk right there in the middle. Shout out Kirkwood. That's Washington and Kansas City. Jordan Tutu. Those that knew him called him Toots. That is Houston and St. Louis. And then Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson, I think, plays for Washington. Am I correct in saying that? I think it's Washington.
He certainly does. Yep.
A defenseman?
No,
Pittsburgh.
he's not a defenseman, but he's definitely an enforcer, though.
I should have stopped while I was ahead. Unbelievable. Bad job by me. That's Pittsburgh and Cleveland in the 5 hole. So let's give the people today's Fleet Thursday. Clue number 1 was All-Star. Clue number 2 is this person was an All-Star. I think they're a 9-time All-Star. Still playing officially, not still playing this season. They've been eliminated for a while. Rating was a good clue if you know this person's nickname. When you go to the movies, Tim, what kind of movies? What are the options? G. We love the G-rated movies. What other options are there as far as movie ratings?
PG.
Okay.
PG-13.
Oh, what's that one?
PG-13.
Yeah. Okay. PG-13.
Is that our athlete?
That is our athlete. It is PG-13. Bulldog was the 3rd clue. Paul George went to Fresno State. 2 first names, Paul George. And Paul George, of course, has a podcast. I think it's like Podcast P, or I'm not sure what it's called.
I thought he quit that at the end of last.
No, he's back.
He's back.
People. He's like, I got to concentrate. We've lost 27 straight games. Maybe I should stop podcasting.
I'm getting paid tens of millions of dollars to be a basketball player, so I should start focusing on that.
I mean, whatever. I think I haven't listened to it, but I always think that stuff's fine. I like it. So I of course tonight I wanted to pick somebody that had a link to both the Pacers and the Thunder, and Paul George, of course, was traded for Victor Oladipo and Domantas Sabonis back in the day, and then famously he was traded to the Clippers. From the Clippers to OKC. So he has an involvement in both these teams. He basically assisted in Halliburton eventually getting to the Pacers, and then he was traded for 5 first-round picks, 2 first-round swaps, Danilo Gallinari, and SGA. Whew, back in 2019.
That's crazy.
So he gets the most credit, Paul George, in part. And he gets the assists for these 2 teams meeting tonight in the finals because he essentially landed Halliburton and landed SGA. All right. I gave you enough time. Give me some taters. Who's going yard?
I'm going to go CJ Abrams plus 425. And then I think that Grant Neefers on this one is Yandy Diaz plus 500. But that is officially Grant's, but I like that one. I'm going to tail that one.
I was just talking to Grant last night. I don't know why you mentioned Grant. His His Twitter, he's blowing up on the Twitter. I don't know if you know that. He's a big deal now. You can't even go to the store without getting stopped and people asking about bangers. Bobby in chat, by the way, saying Paul George should get a ring. You think he should get an honorary ring tonight?
I want to say like, it does go beyond Paul. Oh, wow. I just noticed that I've been fiddling with my hair and I just saw it on camera. Like the Oklahoma City thing, they turned a second-round pick and a trade exemption into this entire team that they have now.
Jalen Williams, right?
No. Like they traded a second-round pick and a trade exemption for Kurt Thomas and 2 first-round picks
Thomas.
For Kurt Thomas. This is in 2007. They absorbed his contract. And one of those first-round picks turned into Serge Ibaka, who they traded for Victor Oladipo, Ersan Ilyasova, and Domantas Sabonis, who they then traded for Paul George, who they then traded for SGA, Gallinari, and 5 first-round picks. So it all started with absorbing Kurt Thomas's contract and giving up a second-round pick.
Former Miami Heat lottery pick. I think he was a lottery pick. I remember at a Texas Tech, I think. He led college in, I think, points and rebounding in his senior year, whatever year it was. You didn't think I would know about Kurt Thomas, did you?
So it looks like Cardi's also on Yandy Diaz. You can get a much better number on FanDuel than on DK. He's plus 600 on FanDuel.
I don't even want to look because I'm sure my book is terrible. The only book I have here in Florida is Hard Rock, and they know it. They know they're the only game in town, so the homer bets are pretty terrible. Is there a player? Is there a team? Is there a stack you're most afraid of not having tonight?
There's definitely a team and a player. It's the Yankees and it's Aaron Judge that I'm scared of not having tonight. That's a very, very easy question.
I think that's my answer too. And like, as I don't want to say my default kind of is, especially on a slate like this, assuming we get the go ahead from Roth. If I can get double barrel and then, like the rest of the pitchers, there's a clear step down. Reagan's is awesome, but I just don't trust he's going to throw more than like 80 pitches. I just feel like I can make up the difference in bats. Like, of course, Aaron Judge hits 2 homers and I go to bed, fire up the Netflix or whatever. But I just, much more predictable as far as the arms. You can find homers anywhere in baseball. Is that your default as well? Like, or you want to spend up on? Of course, you want Aaron Judge. You're not doing it tonight, but is that typical, or are you going against like your general path?
Well, I mean, it's all about slate size as far as I'm concerned. Like the ownership on Judge is going to be so high on this smaller slate, so I just want to pivot away from him today. But normally, Aaron Judge is fantastic. If Aaron Judge was going to be like 25% in single entry, I'd probably play him. I just don't want to play him at like 50% in the 121 or something like that.
We currently have it at 30%, but like you said, this is DK. Like you said, that's large field as far as the number, and people tend to be more conservative. People tend to be more afraid to not play the best plays in single entry stuff, and you can take advantage of it, especially with baseball. We're talking like 4 at-bats, maybe 5 at-bats. It's a solo homer, and that's it. You're fine. It's not a big deal. You can get past that, but sometimes it's a couple and it's over. All right, crunch time, knocking on the door, Tim. We have cheap meteorologist Kevin Roth. We have TJ going to become an analyst, and then we have Kirkwood, KirkDiese. Some would call him. I know he wants to tell you he was they gave him the nickname Kirk Diggler back in the day. I don't believe that, but somebody might have called him Shattenkirk. I don't know. It's possible. Let's bring on crunch time right now. Rob chirping in the chat. You think Tim looks especially like you love today?
Yeah, I think he's been hitting the gym. You look good, Tim. You've been looking up and down.
Are you underwater, Rob? Where are you at? Where's your current location?
Does my mic suck?
Nope.
Do I sound terrible?
You're back.
How much have you had to drink, Kevin?
I have had nothing but water. Nothing but water.
Not Monday.
Yeah.
Not Monday.
But,
That's right.
tomorrow,
It's not Monday.
Vacation is on tomorrow, and then it's on.
Are you going to parts unknown, or have you told the people where you're going?
I'm going to Florida. I'm trying not to blast that all over the internet, but I'm going to be in Dean's Hood.
It's a big state. Yeah. I don't know. slide into the DMs if you're around my turf.
Well,
But,
to be clear,
yeah,
when
you're
you tell
doing
people
your
you're
thing.
going to Florida, that means that I will not be at my home, so people will rob you. That's the point, you know.
Understood. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to make sure you got it.
I plan on
you-
robbing you now.
Yeah.
How comfortable is your couch?
Well-
Just a random question.
It's not very.
All right. Kirkwood, how are things? We doing all right?
There's a show about that right now on Apple TV about the.
John Hamm. Yeah, I haven't started it yet, but it's supposed to be pretty good.
I watched it all.
You like
it's,
it?
It's okay. It's pretty good.
Rousing endorsement. Everything else. Everything
For
else
right now, it's good. There's not a lot of stuff on right now. Like we're in that period where we don't have many shows going, at least for like HBO shows and whatnot. So I enjoyed it.
All right. Anything else you want to share with me and Tim before we step aside and get out here and make way for crunch time?
Not at all.
All right, Tim, it was fun. Do hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Do not go anywhere because you got Kevin Roth. You got TJ Zwarych. You got Kirkwood, KirkDiese, leader of the Juggalos, taking you 38 minutes up the lock. Let's do it right now. It's Kevin Roth.
Good stuff. Welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. It's crunch time. It's two of the sharpest minds in the biz hanging out with us. My good Canadian friend. By the way, TJ, I don't know if you saw my golf forecast for the RBC Canada or whatever the hell it's called.
Canadian Open? That's not a difficult name.
I don't follow golf. Anyways, I said
Canadian Open one weekend, US Open the next weekend.
I said the weather for this is very much like Canadians themselves. Very nice.
No. That's very
What
kind.
are
of
you
Rob.
talking about?
And I had an epiphany the other day, actually, thinking back to our cereal arguments, and not just the Cinnamon Toast Crunch versus Raisin Bran, but in reference to not just you, but a lot of people in chat talking about like, oh, that just sounds immediately like diabetes. How can you eat all that crazy sugary crap? I had totally forgotten that our cereals aren't the same. American cereal has way more sugar than ours.
Oh,
So I was
you
sitting here
have
thinking, like, what do you mean? Like, it tastes like diabetes? Like, it's literally just a little bit of cinnamon and sugar on a little crunchy thing.
So
And
you
it's
have
'cause I
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but with less sugar than our Cinnamon Toast
Yeah.
Crunch.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to
And
get
so
out of that.
all of our
you got to
cereals
move.
have
You got
less
to
sugar.
become the fit. You got to become one of our states. You know, like Trump wants. You got
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Maybe that is why you think that it tastes good. Yeah, that actually makes sense. One time I was traveling to Oklahoma, and we were staying in a cabin, so I got a shitload of beers for the cabin. And after like 20 beers, I was still sober, and I was confused. Like I was like, all right, I've had 20 beers. I should be very drunk. And it turns out that their alcohol content is lower. It's only like 2.9 or something like that percent. So it was only as if I had, 11 beers.
That's another thing we have the opposite of, though, is higher percentage beer and lower sugar cereal.
Yeah.
Molson Triple X, is that one? I used to go a long time ago.
Molson's so good. Molson's amazing. Yeah, it's the 3.2% beers over there in Oklahoma. Okay, anyways, those were just random side stories. People probably want weather and sports and news. We got KirkDiese in the house as well. What up?
What up? Just, I like this. A nice little small slate. I like this. This is I usually do well on the smaller ones.
Okay, very good. Well, the people will need your guidance, and sadly and unfortunately, the people will need my guidance as well, because we've got some weather concerns. 2 games, Tampa and Pittsburgh. Tampa's probably fine. Do we want pitchers there, Kirkwood?
I do.
Yeah.
You don't need it, but
yeah, you've got like a 20% chance of just something random popping and screwing you over, but you roll those dice, especially on a smaller slate. If I see anything that looks alarming, I'll let you know, but I think things are probably fine there. And bats are certainly fine, right? It's just will you get a random pop-up causing a delay in Tampa? And the answer is probably not. But it's a lot more interesting in Pittsburgh. There's rain moving in within an hour and a half. If they don't late start, I don't think you can play pitchers. If they do late start, I'm worried about the game in general. So my hope is that they just play. They don't say anything. They just play. And rain moves in, and maybe they play through it. maybe they need to delay. But as long as they start the game, I'll feel confident that they're going to finish the game. But if they late start, it's like, all right, well, now we're in it till 9-10 o'clock Eastern. It starts to get a little bit worrisome.
So that is the number one pitcher on the slate.
Naturally.
Well, depends.
Kirkwood.
It's got one of the top two on the high end, and then it has probably the best value low end pitcher.
So two good pitchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has the one who's going to be over 50% owned today.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be pitching in rain or not, and he's going to be delayed for 2 or 3 hours. I really think if they don't announce a late start, as the radar looks right now, you should not play pitchers in that game.
I'm screwed.
Right. Derek says no tarp on the field as of now, so it looks like they're going to try to play. And look, maybe they just play it in the pouring rain and the pitchers get their run. But it's going to rain, and there's lightning upstream too. So I think there's a decent shot of a delay. I'll keep watching this and see if things maybe look a little bit better in 15 minutes. But as of now, I think you probably should not play pitchers in that game, assuming they go with an on-time start.
Makes sense.
Cool. Yeah.
Sorry, as of now, we don't play pitchers.
Yeah, I think assuming that they're going for an on-time start, and it looks like they are, I think you probably should not play pitchers.
Okay.
Yeah. Or you can, you can just say like, oh, I don't
You
give
got
a
big
shit.
balls. They call me Big Balls Kirk over here. So
They did, and that worked out for you. You were playing, you went with the big balls pitcher last time we hung out, and that guy crushed, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you can be big balls Kirk again, but they're going to be soggy balls because it is going to rain.
All right. We'll see.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Good times. With that, let's dive into pitchers. TJ, you get to lead us off.
So, Framber Valdez was the guy who was kind of like the safe option. He's going to be upwards of 60% owned and was the clear cash game choice. Only reason you're potentially fading in tournaments is potential upside, but it's a great matchup and a really good pitcher. Having said that, this is the game we have been talking about weather-wise. So I think that means for sure you do not play Framber Valdez in a cash game, as tough as that will be to make it look. And if you were considering Mitch Keller as a cheap SP2 today, that means you are probably going without that. We also do have potential rain concern in Tampa, which is Ryan Pepio and Jack Leiter, the third and fourth highest owned rostered pitchers on the slate. So we currently have 1, 3, and 4 and 5. 1, 3, 4, and 5 in terms of most rostered pitchers are in potential weather spots for us. And so Max Fried is the one clear guy that you are playing in cash games today. Before we were looking at either Valdez and Fried or Valdez and a paydown situation. Now it is Fried in a paydown situation as the guys we are going with. Considering that Valdez, Leiter, Pepio, Keller all might have rain factored in, I think that makes Cole Ragans a lot more in play than I originally did think he was going to be. Right, like he's coming off the IL. He only threw under 60 pitches in his rehab start, and he also kind of got lit up. So I'm going to take the wait and see approach with Ragans. I was planning on fully fading completely, not even considering. Now with all these weather issues, I do think you can consider, but still probably not going to go for on the Ragans side of things for me. My favorite SP2 now, I think, is Matthew Liberatore, who already I loved for tournaments because he was going really low owned. But I like him even more so now. And I think I'd kind of rank it. Fried as the SP1. Liberatore is my favorite SP2. But Roth, if you think Tampa is going to be fine for pitchers, I do think Pepio is probably your cash game SP2 now. But it does kind of make that setting pretty tough. I'm only playing one lineup, and I'm going to play Matthew Liberatore and Slade Ciccone.
Yikes.
Slade the Blade.
Yeah, I'm looking at his ownership there. He is. That's an off the board one, it appears, TJ. I will say again, I'll reiterate, I think you just play pitchers in Tampa. There's a low chance of a random pop-up screwing you, but small slate, you just do it, right? I think it's going to work out okay. But I am legitimately concerned about a delay in that Pittsburgh game. And I think in cash, you should not play pitchers there. In a GPP, you want to be big balls, Kirk, you can do that. Speaking of Kirkwood, what are your thoughts here pitcher-wise?
Yeah, I was just trying to move. There's not much movability here with pitchers because, small slate here. So, again, I mean, I guess Max Fried is the overall top play, probably the safest play. I agree with TJ. It's looking like 80 pitches from Cole Reagans might be pretty good now. When before you said we couldn't play, or you don't think it's best to play the other guys. That it's a little bit of a different situation now. So there's really not much else to like. So I love Pepio. I liked him anyway. I was going Pepio, Mitch Keller tonight everywhere, and just hoping that Framber and Fry just have mediocre, lowest strikeout games. Maybe they get hit, especially maybe the Indians hit around Fried a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I guess I have to back what TJ said. There's just really not much more. There's so many guys we just can't play. I mean,
like a Pepio Fried, is that totally fine, right?
Yeah,
Pepio Fried?
That's fine. That's probably going to get all the ownership now, I would think. Or what do you think?
Fried with either Lighter or Pepio.
I see Pepio getting much more play than Lighter.
The other thing is I wasn't even considering this a little bit before, but now it's 6K. I think you can consider Colin Ray, even though he's the probable long relief pitcher. He is not starting. That's Drew Pomeranz starting as an opener. But I think Ray is even in play now at 6K as a long relief pitcher just because of this lack of options. Because I was originally in a scenario where I was thinking you can just play Framber Valdez in 100% of your lineups because he's the one guy that is going to get you 20 points. But now I think you just take shots on the guys who are 5% because nobody's really a good option outside of Fried, and he's going to be 80% owned.
Yeah.
I mean, is the pressure of this moment going to make me tell you guys that just roll the dice on the rain?
No, because there's nothing do what you pretend as if the circumstance does not matter, because there's nothing that'll feel better than if this dude plays 60% owned today. Right. None of us play him, and they get a 2-hour delay in the third inning.
I'm going to speak on behalf of chat and Juggalo Nation and me here.
Yeah,
Roth, I want you to tell us what to do. Make the decision.
Okay.
And then that way we can just light you up on Twitter if we're wrong, if you're wrong, or either way, so we can,
give me 10 minutes.
All right.
10 minutes. I will give an official, this is what you should do. And you can hate on the outcome.
Because that's worth money blaming somebody else for your loss, that there is value, there is value there.
That's actually what I'm paid for, is to just take that blame. Bobby says, did you go to the University of Phoenix?
What?
I don't know. I didn't even understand the joke, but all right, let's talk about the stacks and the bats, and then we'll go around the horn. Kirkwood, you can start.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's some good stacks here for, this is more of an offensive slate. So you got the top one for me is the Cubs. Probably the top one for everyone, but they just hit so well. I like the park in Washington. The wind's blowing out a little bit. It's 80 plus degrees over there. So that game, every which way, I like, because Jake Irvin is definitely someone we can attack. And their bullpen is attackable. Now Pomeranz I can't believe this guy's back. He came out. I saw him pitch the other night and I couldn't believe it. I forgot all about him. But he's going to be opening up for the Cubs for the other side of that game in Washington, which I like too as well, because it's going to be Colin Ray, who's very, very hittable as well. So I like this game for, dare I say, game stack. And then from there, obviously I like the Cubs. I prefer the Cubs, but then I like Yankees, who absolutely did nothing last night. It was just crazy to see. But that looks like a good spot against Slade Ciccone. What's Madonna's last name? Isn't it like Ciccone? Isn't that or something?
Madonna?
Yeah, she
I
has
didn't
like
even know she had a last name.
Yeah.
I thought she was just Madonna.
She didn't legally change it like Prince did. But
Ciccone.
yeah.
No,
There
it's
you go.
also name, but you nailed it.
It's impressive.
Madonna Louise Veronica Ciccone.
I loved Madonna when I was a kid. Yeah. Anyway, Yankees obviously can hit a bunch of homers. They get a lot of the lefty bats, get the platoon in Yankee Stadium against a guy who's just been giving up homers. Ciccone has the highest home run per 9 on the slate. Obviously, he's only pitched in 3 games, but he did give up a few bombs, so you don't need much to get it out of that right field porch in Yankee Stadium. So they're obviously one of the better stacks. The Rays, I love that ballpark. I love the weather, and then I think everything else is probably left there. I kind of like the Royals tonight, so I would go Cubs, Yankees, Rays, Nats, and Royals would be the team. And I'm not playing any Houston. I'm not playing any Texas.
Yeah. Okay. TJ?
Yeah, the Cubs are my top team here by a fairly wide margin as well. I really like both the teams in that Tampa Bay game because it's a small ballpark, it's good weather, and we have 2 pitchers who have been getting lit up a lot this year who are going to come in at very high ownership today. So Cubs are going to be my number 1, followed by the Rays and Rangers. Don't see any need to go to Cleveland outside of the fact that Fried's going to be super highly owned today. I actually even think that you can stack up against Cole Ragans if you want today, just based on he looked really, really bad in his rehab start. And obviously this is a totally elite pitcher, so he could turn around things at, any given moment. But I don't hate the idea of taking a shots on St. Louis against Ragans today, just kind of knowing this, there's a good chance this won't be the same Cole Ragans that we've been used to seeing all the time. I'll be underweight I am, full disclosure, I usually play 150. I'm only playing 1 lineup today. And I'm stacking up. I have a Cubs full stack with a kind of mini Rangers Rays combo. So I'm going underweight on Yankees because that's as crazy as it sounds. I'm even playing a little bit as Slade Ciccone today. And so the Yankees fall 4th for me on the list, but I have no problem with playing them at all. I do really like the Nationals. I think that was a great call, and that's about it for me.
Okay, very good. Let's go around the horn. We'll start at the catcher spot. TJ, what are we doing?
No big dumper. Unfortunately, we do have a nice and cheap Salvador Perez as I think the cash game option today.
He went yard again today, right?
Yeah.
Carrali, yes, he did. Yes, he did. I thought you said point guard, not he went yard, and I legitimately have am I so tired that I'm talking about the wrong sport? Is this an NBA show before the game tonight? I actually had a moment of wow, where am I?
Where am I?
Perez, I think, is the cash option. Outside of that, it's anybody. It's literally just play whatever catcher is in your stack today. My favorites are Danny Jansen and Jonah Heim.
Very good. Kirkwood?
I'll just list top 4. I'll just say, so obviously Salvador Perez is just so cheap with the platoon home run upside. Keibert Ruiz and batting 5th against the Cubs. I don't mind. Yainer Diaz I like. And then if you need to punt, Reese McGuire, 2,200 for the Cubs. Just fine using him. You can always look for a bomb from Danny Jansen or Austin Wells as well. And then I don't really have any interest in, maybe Herrera would be the only guy left from there. But he's down on my list. And then on FanDuel, Ben Rice gets the catcher eligible tag, big home run upside in Yankee Stadium for him. Really probably not playing anyone else. Maybe Ruiz if you need someone cheap just to fill the lineup. I actually have him in my lineup. And then Yainer Diaz.
Yeah. Okay. First base.
Ben Rice again, Uncle Ben on FanDuel. I'm going on that list right now. Cody Bellinger. 3,200 is a nice price against Ciccone. Yandy Diaz, I like a lot. I like Tampa Bay. I like the park. I like the home run upside. And then my last would be Michael Busch for the Cubs. Batting down 7th is a little less than ideal, but that game could absolutely pop off on both sides. So don't mind. I don't really care. It might actually be a better thing that give him less ownership down there. Then on DraftKings, it's Ben Rice again. Nate Lau batting 4th. Going to have that first at bat against Pomerantz, probably lefty, which he's not as good at, but from there, then he'll get Colin Ray the rest of the game. Then Yandy Diaz, and Christian Walker. Forget him. He's been so terrible. His Statcast stuff is gross too. So I'll just say Michael Busch again.
Okay, TJ, first base.
Yeah, Michael Busch is my favorite here. Ben Rice coming in number 2. If you want to save salary, I think my favorite option would be Josh Bell. And then I like Jonathan Aranda a lot for tournaments as well. So small slate, not a lot of names I like, but Michael Busch, Jonathan Aranda, Ben Rice, Yandy Diaz, and then if you got to go super cheap, Josh Bell.
Okay, second base, TJ.
Pretty gross second base position outside of the top names. But honestly, I shouldn't have started it that way. Considering how small of a slate this is, it's actually a really good second base position because you have Jazz Chisholm in a great spot. You have Brandon Lau, low owned in a great spot. So Lau is my clear number 1, Chisholm number 2, Marcus Semien if I need to save some salary. And that's about it. So it's still second base, but the top 3 I actually really do like.
Yeah. All right. I want to get your thoughts, Kirkwood, at second. First, Lone Wolf says, "Hey, Roth, will you give a shout out to Tim, Tasteful Tides? He had 2 home run calls today. One of them was Muncy from the A's." Yeah, always ready to shout out Tim. Good stuff. Kirkwood, your thoughts at second base?
Paying up for Jazz looks pretty good. He's bumped up in the order a little bit to number 5. You're just chasing home runs, really. And actually, when he gets on base, you can get some steals. I like India. I think is fine. He actually homered today. I think
You did.
Yeah, and
we'll get another one in July.
Nah, he'll get all of his over the next week, and then he'll never hit another one. That's what I'm betting on. Altuve, sure. Brandon Lau is probably my favorite, and then besides Jazz, paying up for Jazz, he's probably going to be Brandon Lau is probably going to get more ownership than I see right there, but he's someone I definitely like a lot. And other than that, I'm out on Semien. Nico Horner would be the only other guy I'd go to, but he's down the list for me.
Okay, very good. Before we get to third, I promised the people 9 minutes ago that I would give an update in 10 minutes, which puts us 60 seconds away from an update. I do want to make sure you hit that like button, 8 likes until we get our next Spidey Bomb. And my official, as Kirk demanded, tell us what to do. Don't play pitchers in cash. Yeah. I think you get about an hour, but I think a delay is fairly likely. And I will say between the chance that they just play through the rain or that they delay for an hour and a half and they get back out and the pitchers come back out, it could certainly work out. And that's why if you want to do this in tournaments, I'm not going to stop you. But if this is your play and your safe move and what you're doing in cash, I think it's wrong. I think it will start raining within 20 minutes of the game, and within an hour of the start of that game, it'll be raining pretty damn hard. And I don't know if they'll be able to play through it or not. And to me, that's just too risky.
I'll take things a step further from what Roth has said from like a DFS game theory standpoint. I genuinely think you can play Mitch Keller in tournaments because he's going to be 10% owned. I think it's genuinely a bad idea to touch Framber Valdez in tournaments because even despite this weather report, we are still probably going to see 50% ownership for Framber Valdez in tournaments. So it makes way more sense for us to hope that game does not play and fade him entirely than play him into massive, massive chalk, because there's a scenario where even if that game starts, even if he doesn't get pulled, right? They somehow avoid a delay. They play through the rain or the delay short enough that he comes back in. there's a scenario where he's not optimal anyways. And so at 50-60% ownership, I think we want to not play Framber Valdez at all in tournaments. Hit the X button in cash in tournaments. If there's a legitimate, like if you're saying like above 50% chance he gets knocked out of there, or there's a delay long enough, I think we you don't play him at all.
I think those delay odds are probably like 50% ish that he gets knocked out. Yes. And if not, they're playing in the pouring rain. And I don't know if it's playable in that much rain. So yeah, first 30 minutes are probably fine. First hour, but after that, it's going to be raining hard. Okay.
This game, like, so there's HR junk stuff in chat says he doesn't think it starts raining until 8:01. Well, we got a professional meteorologist.
It's going to rain in like 20 minutes, so that's wrong.
But 2, even if it was 8 o'clock Eastern time, well, that's still probably the 4th inning. That's not good for us. That would be bad, and we don't want to play a pitcher in that scenario. So either way, hit the X button on Framber Valdez. Going to be over 50% owned. Let's hope that we get the weather edge today, if you will.
And I just hope he gets freaking shelled either way at this point, right?
Yeah, I do too. Now, I just want to know what this means for me. This means I have Taylor Walls, Walls instead of Bobby Witt Jr. at shortstop.
That does seem like a downgrade. It's not. I don't know much, but that doesn't seem great.
All right, whatever.
Yeah. Third base, I think, Kirkwood.
We were. Teacher, are you playing any Rosario?
I'm just running only one lineup today, and so I don't have him in my one lineup.
So he's popping everywhere, but I'm wondering if like he's gonna get like he's only gonna be in for the Pomeranz at bats.
Yeah, I feel like that's possible.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm probably out on him. Then Isaac Paredes, bats should be okay in that game, so that's fine. Jazz Chisholm again. I kind of like Arenado tonight. No one's going to play him. He's batting 6th. He stinks now, but he's facing a lefty with coming off with a groin injury. And TJ said he looked bad in his his only rehab start, which he only threw 62 pitches. So yeah, give me on a slate like this, that can make a huge difference. So I do like Arenado, and my favorite of all of them, price and upside, is Junior Caminero.
Okay, very good. TJ?
Caminero is my top guy for tournaments too. I absolutely love that call. Jazz Chisholm, you can play at third. Rosario, I do worry that is bad chalk with him potentially having some pinch hit risk. I'd rather play Josh Young. Junior Caminero or Jazz Chisholm would be my 3 guys. And then Max Fried's a tough matchup, but like you can absolutely play a super low owned on a small slate Jose Ramirez against him. And then I'm playing Matt Shaw currently in my one lineup. In my my one lineup has a Cub stack, and I have Matt Shaw in it as a salary saver.
Okay, very good. Shortstop.
I am currently trying to debate in my team. Should I go Paul Reagans, Matt Shaw, and Danny Jansen? Or should I go Slade Ciccone, Jonah Heim, and then I can get Matt Shaw all the way up to Junior Caminero? That's one I'm not sure about right now because I don't really want to play Reagans anyways. But yeah, that's it for third base. Shortstop, it's Bobby Witt as the top option if you can get up to him. CJ Abrams is fine. I love Corey Seager today. Seager is probably my favorites for tournaments with Dansby Swanson right behind him. But Witt should be $6,300. So like he absolutely is. If you can get up to Witt, great. But I do think Corey Seager is a wonderful backup if you can't quite get up to Witt.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Kirkwood, your thoughts at shortstop?
Love Abrams. Love Bobby Witt. I guess Josh Smith is fine for the price. Same goes for Pena, 4,400. All those guys are in play. Seager has been brutal so far coming back, but you got to just keep rolling him out till he's going to come through at some point. But he's probably I would probably rank him 5th. So I would go Witt, Abrams, Pena, Smith, Seager.
Okay, very good. That brings us to the outfield.
All right. Outfield, you got on DraftKings, you got pretty cheap Grisham for the upside, 4,400 is not bad in Yankee Stadium. Josh Lowe, 5,100 leading off for Tampa. I think Leiter's going to get shelled. I think he's been overperforming, and some home run variance is going to hit him shortly. O'Neal Cruz is a beast. Ian Happ, all the Cubs outfield. Pete Crow Armstrong, awesome play. Kyle Tucker, awesome play. Ian Happ, awesome play. Suzuki, awesome play. So all the Cubs outfield. Then I like the Nats side and the other side too. And James Wood is awesome. So love him. And then that's about it. I'll let TJ say the rest.
I'm actually seeing the Pittsburgh might be tarping the field now. And I haven't confirmed that, but I just got a tweet that said that, which would change things. So that changes things because now there is no in-game delay risk, right? Now that removes the chance of pitchers getting pulled by an in-game delay. It just becomes a question of, are they going to play the game? Which I think the answer is yes, but it's certainly not a guarantee.
Tarp is being rolled onto the field here at PNC Park. The Pirates announce a new start time is uncertain.
Why the fuck did they take so long to do that? So
that is
now
a Houston beat reporter.
So I'm back. Big Balls Kirk is back. Is that what we're hearing?
That's what I'm saying.
Now we're looking at it. I was going to say now it's at a state where everybody's okay or no one's okay because start time uncertain gives me scaries of the game might not even play.
Yep. And that is a legitimate concern and a legitimate fear. But I think you're better off now with pitchers than you were prior to it when I was pretty sure that you were going to get a delay, an in-game delay.
And official rain delay as of 15 seconds ago.
I don't know why they waited so long to do that. They just, all right, what do we have? 5 minutes until lock for that game?
Yep.
All right, let me look. TJ, go through outfield. Let me see if I can figure out exactly how long it's going to rain here.
All right, Matt's in chat noting that it is the final game of the series, so maybe that gives them a little extra, hey, we want to play it because there's no doubleheader potential. If I'm spending up for one of the above 6K guys, my preference in tournaments is Pete Crow Armstrong. Obviously, Aaron Judge is the cash spend up. Him and Ohtani are the two best players in all of baseball, best bats in all of baseball. And so absolutely Judge in that setting. But my favorite for tournaments is PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong. He's a Spidey bomb right there at the bottom. Mid-range guys that I like, I'm mostly just going to be looking to stack things up today. So I'm going to a lot of Chicago, whether that be Tucker, PCA, Ian Happ, Seiya Suzuki. Like that's the group that I'm going to the most. Then for me, it's going to be Tampa, the Josh Lowe's, the Christopher Morels, the Cameron Meisners. My favorite, if I need to go all the way down and save super cheap salary, it's the Osuna, the Texas guy. He is, I believe, only 2,200. And that's mostly where I'm going today in the outfield.
Okay, very good. I think it's going to rain until damn near 10 o'clock, right?
Eastern or Central?
Eastern, right? Pittsburgh is Eastern, yeah. So there's a legit chance they don't play. I think they probably will. I think they'll probably start this game at like 9:30, but that is not a safe spot. And now the bats obviously are at risk as well. So
wow, I thought I was back. Now
I think you can be back. I think you can, but like I don't think you do it for cash, man.
I'm back.
But people pointing out, look, it's the final game of the series. I think both teams have are traveling to play tomorrow. Houston's in Cleveland tomorrow night. Like they want to play this game.
Yeah, Philly hosts. Yeah, Philly hosts. Pittsburgh hosts Philly tomorrow, and Houston's in Cleveland. So they certainly would not play it tomorrow.
Right. So they want to play this game, and I think they'll probably stick around long enough and just play it late, but like late. And it is not a safe play. But my guess is that they're going to play really late tonight. That's my official.
All right. Do you have a percentage on this?
No, I'm making shit up if I give you a percentage.
Yeah, I like the made up percentage.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's fine. I'll make up a percentage. I think there's a 60% chance they play tonight.
That's all I need to hear. Thank you.
Okay.
See, and I'm with you that you don't want to give one, because all you can tell us is what the rain's going to do. You can't tell us what the managers are going to want to do at 10 p.m. tonight.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are moments until lock. Let's give some home run calls, TJ. We got a couple Spidey bombs, PCA and Low, who knows?
Final thing, yeah, PCA and Brandon Lau are my first two Spidey bombs. Let's see if we can get up to 150 likes here for a third. How many are we at? We are not going to get there. I will say I'm only playing one lineup today, but if I was playing like a cash game in 150, I would fade that game in cash in my 150 lineups, considering that now we're at a spot where there's not going to be a mid-game delay, most likely, but it's either play or postpone. And so what I would be doing in MME is I would have Framber Valdez in my pool. I would have Mitch Keller in my pool. I would fully fade the bats. I would not touch any bats in this game because I don't think you need to. I think Houston is fine, but we definitely don't want to play the Pittsburgh side anyways. So I would be making sure I'm not trying to play any one-offs. And I would, in that game, I probably wouldn't be stacking the offenses. I think Valdez is in a good enough spot, and honestly, even Keller on a weak slate, that I would still play them for tournaments. But I would do the full avoid for cash.
Yeah. All right. Kirkwood, anything you want to add and/or a home run pick?
I'm going to say James Wood for a home run, and also Bobby Witt Jr. for a home run.
I mean, why did they waited until 4 minutes before the game to announce a late start? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
I don't know. I'm a little scared now.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they know what the hell they're doing now that I know that they waited 4 minutes until the start of a game to late start a game when it was obviously going to rain an hour into the game. Like, what are we doing? All right. Well, we've basically hit the lock. Let's answer some questions if there are any.
But we're after lock.
Are we already after lock?
Do questions matter?
Minute to it.
No, we got a minute.
All right, let's go.
Is there any lightning risk? I guess that might be irrelevant now. There's not a lot, I would say. There's not much. Walls and Low or Swanson and Misner. DK single entry, TJ.
Swanson and Misner.
Dean says the Pirates are a very cheap organization. Selling beer might be the answer as to why they didn't late start it. I just don't think they know, man. I just don't think they know. Other than any weather issues, not really. There's a low chance of a delay in Tampa, but not really.
Whenever they don't give a new start time, I never trust it because it's like they don't know what they're doing. You know, if they had a plan, they would say, oh, there's going to be rain from X time to X time. This is when we plan to start. Well, as a tentative start time, we'll let you know if we think it or not. When they don't announce a start time, that just tells me they're just figuring shit out as they go. And I don't trust that. That's why I'm not playing it.
Yeah, I get that. Abrams or J-Ram as a one-off, Kirkwood. Who are you playing? Abrams or J-Ram on FanDuel?
Abrams.
Can we pretend that if they would have played on time, the rain would have caused a delay and I would have saved all of your lineups?
Yeah, you'd have nailed it.
Okay, cool. I'll take that. FanDuel cash, Kirkwood, back to you. Swanson in a Chicago stack or Seager as a one-off?
Swanson in the Chicago stack.
Hey, we answered the questions. I probably have 8 billion more on Twitter I've got to get to. So let's clear on out of here. We did the things.
Your
that we came here to
vacation
do.
officially starts when this ends, so you can avoid Twitter now.
Yeah, but not maybe when this game ends.
Well, it's locked, so you don't got to do anything now.
Yeah. Well,
There's nothing
Framber,
we
by
can
the way,
change about that one.
47% rostered.
In
Man.
single entry and over 50% in cash.
We'd have cleaned up if they started that game on time.
Yeah. Now we're cheering postpone.
All
Right.
I don't know.
You should shut your mouth over there.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm cheering for any longer. I know I'm going to get yelled at no matter what. We're going to get on out of here. For TJ, for Kirkwood, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crushed.